A week ago, this boat had no power, no water, and no lights. Now, it has all three. So today, we're going for the big one, a hot cup of coffee. Standing between me and that coffee is a locker full of dead things, a drain hose that may or may not be blocked,
and I found something concerning.
And propane that tends to settle in the darkest parts of the boat, just waiting for a spark. So let's see if we can make breakfast without blowing everything up.
But the wind directions changed. The north of east this morning, the easterly getting south of east into tomorrow. Any announcements is Monday morning.
Every morning they have a cruiser's channel and he gives you the rundown of everything going on the island. Every morning at 8 a.m. cruisers chime in.
Back down to Antigua.
Good way to wake up.
French baguette and croissants. So
We should have been keying into this all week.
everyone
She just said, we facilitate your packages from Miami and we have French baguettes. We've been looking all week.
remind you that today is propane run today. So if you get your boxes in before 9.
Oh my god, propane!
When 09?
Okay, they just made an announcement on the radio that Island Water World is taking propane today, so I'm gonna go cruise over there really quick because they said if you have to be there before 9 and then they'll fill it and you can pick it back up in the afternoon. So, I'll be back.
And 20 minutes later, the tanks were full, nobody exploded, and apparently the next exciting thing that happened all day was spotting these frigate birds on the way to dinner. If you've been following my channel, you already know that I've been up to my eyeballs in projects, and honestly, it can get overwhelming. I've learned that when life gets chaotic, I don't have to tackle everything at once. I just have to start. For me, that starts with one simple habit every morning. 1 scoop of AG1 in 8 to 12 ounces of cold water before the chaos begins. It gives me a chance to reset before diving into rebuilding this sailboat, editing until midnight, answering emails, and everything else that starts competing for my attention. I've made AG1 a part of my daily routine because I've genuinely noticed a difference in my ability to stay focused and maintain steady energy throughout the day. I'm definitely guilty of leaning on coffee when life gets busy, but I found I feel a lot better when coffee isn't the only thing carrying me throughout the day. Starting my day with AG1 means that I've already supported my daily nutrition needs, and it makes me feel like I'm taking care of the foundation first. This isn't just another green drink. To me, AG1 represents the same mindset that I'm trying to live by. Keep learning, keep improving. They're backed by multiple peer-reviewed clinical trials and continue investing in research because they're committed to raising the bar. I'm trying to become a little better every day, and if I'm gonna build habits around anything, I want those habits to be built around companies trying to do the same. I'm genuinely grateful to have AG1 as part of my daily routine, and even more grateful that they're supporting what I'm trying to build here with this sailboat and this channel by sponsoring today's episode. If you'd like to give AG1 a try, just scan the QR code here or head to drinkag1/Pirate Princess. Through my link, you'll get a free AG1 flavor sampler and a free bottle of vitamin D3 plus K2 with your first AG1 subscription order. Thanks again to AG1 for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to the boat.
We got our propane. I was just checking to make sure that the drain hoses in the propane tank lockers are working. So I just sent some water down it. From one, we got water out, and the other one not. So I think the hose might be disconnected from underneath the locker. So I'm just crawling in here to reattach it. And then hopefully we'll have fire to cook. Oh, just crawling in here to check on the propane locker, but before I got all the way back there, I decided to start checking things out under this bed, and I found something concerning. That does not look good. So that is the exhaust silencer, it's called. A wet exhaust. It's basically just a piece of tubing with 2 like stainless steel caps on the end. During the survey, it was recorded that the cap on the other side had like a pinhole rust to it. However, I don't think we got a good look at this cap on this side, and it is definitely much worse. It looks like it's rusting onto another hose. I don't know what hose that is yet, but as you can see, that doesn't look so good. Yeah, I mean, it's just coming apart. It's likely leaking all down into here. None of this is looking so hot, except for this Seacock, which I'm very happy about. All this other stuff can be fixed. I'll just have to source some new caps. I actually tried to source the cap for the other side when I knew it, when the survey came back and it was just like a pinhole rust. And I didn't really find any, or I did, but they were expensive. So I was like, okay, well, I could just do a little bit of welding. Well, if it's just a pinhole, or I could slap some, you know, JB weld on it for the time being. But that's gonna need a new cap, unless I can pull it off and bring it to a professional on the island and they can build it back up somehow. But that's gonna need to be addressed probably before I start the engine again. So I'm glad I looked. Yeah, I'll just add it to the list. Anyways, moving on. Let me just show you guys around. This is the bottom of the propane locker. This square here is on the other side of this square is where the door is, and then it drains into here. And then this is the hose that goes out. It's not disconnected, so it must be blocked up, which is not good. I poured a little bit of water into it to see if it would come through. Nothing came through. I stopped after pouring a little bit when I didn't see drainage, because I didn't want to be pouring water like straight into the boat if there was a disconnected hose. But now that I see the hose is not disconnected, I'll try and pour a little bit more in and see if anything happens. All right, well, at least it's not dripping into the boat. That's good news. Okay, so we're back at the propane locker. This is what it's looking like. It's a bit gross in there. Let's see what happens if I pour a little bit more. False alarm. It's draining. Okay, I just didn't pour enough before. So, better safe than sorry though, guys. That is a huge safety precaution to make sure. Oh, I just kicked the propane thing. To make sure that your propane lockers are draining. So, I'm glad I went through all of that. And it caused me to find the rusting on the other side of that silencer, which I mean, I probably would have looked at just when I go through the whole engine. But now I know ahead of time. So, there you go. Ew, what is that? They look like egg sacs. Oh, I don't want to know what that is. Oh, a wasp. Looks like some kind of wasp. Okay, well, they're dead, so they didn't survive. That's good news. If anyone knows what that is, ugh, it's really gross. So now that I know that the propane locker is draining, I'm just going through all the systems to make sure everything looks good, because it's been a while since this has been used. What I'm looking for is any cracking, stiffness, or swelling of the hose. It doesn't actually looks fairly new, and the hose clamps still look new as well. I also have wires running here to the solenoid. Basically what the solenoid valve is for is I can do an electrical shutoff from inside the boat, so I don't have to come out here and turn the tank off every time. The sealant to it was kind of just coming off, so I'm gonna wrap that up with electrical tape for now, and then probably just re-crimp this later on just to be extra safe. But it doesn't look like there's any corrosion happening, and there really wasn't much moisture in here to begin with. All of that is just from when I was pouring water. And then the marine regulator for regulating the pressure that's coming out of the tank and going into the stove. As you can see, this one's already heavily oxidized. However, internally it's probably usable. These tend to last for a while regardless of how they look. And then this is your pressure gauge. And since we've made it to the pressure gauge, let's talk about how it can be used to tell you if your propane system has a leak. But first, why should we care?
Fire hazard.
Having a sealed propane system is absolutely crucial for the safety of the boat and everyone on board. Propane is heavier than air, so if it leaks, it doesn't just disappear, it sinks. And on a sailboat, it settles in the lowest part of the boat, the bilge. A deep, dark abyss where engine drips collect, random hardware disappears forever, and every 10mm socket ever lost. But unfortunately, propane can end up there too. And if the propane ever meets a spark from a bilge pump kicking on, a loose electrical connection, or really any other ignition source,
That's when we go boom.
this pressure gauge isn't there to tell you how much propane you have left. It's measuring whether your system is holding pressure. So here's how you check your system. First, make sure all your stove burners are turned off. Then open the propane tank to pressurize the system. Once the line is full, close the valve at the tank and note the pressure on the gauge. Wait about 15 minutes to an hour to be safe. If the gauge stays exactly where it started, that's a good indication that the system is holding pressure and is most likely leak-free. But if the pressure starts dropping, you've got a leak somewhere between the propane tank and the stove. From there, you can isolate different sections of the system using components like the manual shutoff valve and the electric solenoid to narrow down exactly where the leak is. It doesn't look brand new, but it doesn't look terrible. It can be replaced soon. For tonight, I think this looks okay, and I'm just gonna be shutting off the tank from the source. So I'm gonna hook this up and give it a go. We'll see. Alright, let's open the tank up very slowly. Now this tank is really not built for this cubby. A different size propane tank is meant to be in here. So I think eventually I'll fix that so that this has a better sitting place. Don't love it, but so since there's no power going to the valve, we will use the opportunity to check if the solenoid valve is actually working. Is letting the gas flow from the tank to the stove. I shouldn't be getting any propane to the stove. So if I turn the dials right now and smell propane, that means that I have a faulty solenoid valve. So let's start with the little one here. No gas smell on my end, so that's good news. All right, guys, it is a new day. We have power, we have running water, and we have full propane tanks, so we should be able to light the stove now that we have electricity running to the solenoid valve. And we're gonna give it a go, so maybe we can have some coffee this morning. This should be the solenoid switch here. Let's click that on and turn the tanks on at the source. Got a small whiff of propane. I should hear a small click when I open this. Let's see if we get anything inside. Let's see. Okay, I can already hear there's propane coming through. Let that dissipate for a second. Get coffee! Yes! Where's the drinking water bottle? We'll use that.
We drank it all.
Oh. Well, that's okay, because we're gonna boil this. We're just using this water now. There is water in the tanks, but it's basically been sitting there since the previous owners owned the boat, so we're not gonna use that for drinking.
Empty, they need refilling. We do that at the bin.
This guy just said that he's looking for a flashlight and he's willing to exchange all his bacon.
Torch is. I think it's stick with fire on it that you walk around with, you know.
It is a rainy morning here in St. Martin, so we are seizing the opportunity to check and see which of the hatches are leaking. This one is actually cracked, which you can do like a solvent weld on if you want to do a quick fix and you're not ready to replace the entire hatch. Or you can buy an entire hatch and you rebed the entire hatch, or you can replace just the acrylic part of it. You can either bring that into an acrylic shop, or there's a bunch of videos on YouTube that show you how to reseal the Lumar hatches properly. But for now, we're taking advantage of this rainy day and we are mapping out everything that is leaking. And it's quite a bit. We've got 5 hatches right now. 2 of them are large hatches and 3 of them are the port lights, which are the smaller ones. This one's looking pretty good though. We'll go through and get sizes for them all, start sourcing seals. Anive cleaned this out the other day and noticed that there's some mold that grew back, and it also just rained. You can see in here that there is moisture and drips coming down. This is a water line here, but I don't think it's the water lines, especially because we don't have water running right now. But it just rained, so either there's a deck fitting, like maybe the bottom of the stanchions where it's drilled into the deck is not properly sealed and the screws need to be rebedded, or it would be my deck joint, which would be a bigger issue. There's a lot of hardware up on deck that could likely be causing like very small leaks. That'll just be something to go through really thoroughly in the future. So the main hatches here that I'm through, we've got stripped screws. You can see this hole's even bigger, so it looks like it just kept stripping. And same thing's happening with the forward hatch. So I just pulled the screws out of the forward hatch, but they're actually thicker than the ones that have stripped here. And I'm gonna use them to try and make a new thread here. See if these thicker ones will hold this. And then I'll have to probably go to the hardware store to get an even thicker screw for the forward hatches. Yeah, that works. Now it stays. Maybe not good as new, but we'll get there. Now this is the hatch that had the bigger screw holes that I used for up front. So I went to screw these down and actually found that the friction screw or friction ring on this hinge is seized. So I'm gonna try to tune that up with some lubricant, but I don't have one on board. I'm gonna pause this project, add that lubricant to the list for when we take our trip to land later on today. Yeah, so another half-done project. But once we get the lubricant, I'll probably soak this friction hinge overnight and see if we can get any movement out of it. Pause on that for now.
What are you doing?
Just grabbing some screws for the hatches and the locks. Look at this array they have. It reminds me of Ollivanders in Harry Potter.
I knew it was a Harry Potter reference. These are pretty cool though.
I wonder.
What the fuck?
I wonder.
You're an idiot.
We have a visitor. we are back at the hatch hinge. This one, I couldn't re-secure these screws here because I can't get the right angle because the friction hinge is actually seized. Just gonna pull that off. And then I got some PB Blaster that I'm gonna soak it in overnight. Hopefully that'll get the insides moving. That was my, that was the head to my screwdriver. Will you pass me that? Buy good tools. I have them coming, but our ship packages have been on the island for a few days now, and we have not received them by ground, which has been very frustrating because I sent over everything we could possibly need. Hey, so I have the hatch hinge. This is the friction screw right here, so you can actually make micro adjustments to your hatch via this here, like if you do quarter turns at a time. However, when mine is all the way loose, it's still pretty seized. I'm gonna take it apart and soak it overnight, and hopefully that helps.
And what's the product they're using that smells like bad breath?
Smells like shit, and it's also a known carcinogen, so I should really be doing this in a more ventilated space. But I do have a fan right here.
And the door's open.
I think I'll spray this outside. And I think we're gonna have our first dinner on the boat. Ramen noodles.
Guys, the Aurora Borealis is in St. Martin.
The rain is coming in over the giant LED billboard. It's lighting up the sky. And that is because light particles reflect off water.